All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Right on. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. So coming back with a win?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was 2 weeks notice, 1 week notice, 10
Yeah,
days,
yeah, about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
About 2 weeks when I had initially heard of the fight happening, and then it was all official about a week before.
Okay. And how is that different than knowing one like 3 months in advance to like 2 weeks?
Well, this one and my last one before that were both within 2 weeks notice. So I haven't fought in a full training camp since my first professional fight. So it's yeah, I don't know. I've just been taking fights on short notice. I don't mind it because I don't know. My style is trickier to prepare for than
Yeah.
a lot of other guys. Even if you have a full training camp, you're not going to get a lifetime of wrestling in that 3 months, but you might get some tricks to hold it off a little bit. But 10 days notice, 14 days notice, you're not picking up any wrestling that's going to help you in any way to in the fight. So it's a little bit easier for me, I feel like.
And what was that guy's background?
uh Bare knuckle boxing, I think.
Oh, heck
So
yeah.
I don't know if that was background, but he had a couple bare knuckle boxing fights on his
with
record. And
BKFC?
not with them, it
No.
was out in Lethbridge, I think. They were
Okay.
doing some bare knuckle
That
cards. So
Havoc?
I think it was with Havoc. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking with Havoc. So I got three bare knuckle boxers.
Would you ever do bare knuckle boxing?
No, I'm not built for that. I'm too soft.
Yeah,
Uh, it's crazy.
it is.
The whole have you went to an event?
I've never been in person. I've watched the BKFC stuff, but
It's
yeah,
like man, it's honestly nuts.
yeah,
There's one in August 9th
yeah.
coming to Edmonton.
Is that the BKFC one?
There's a BKFC
Oh
one
yeah,
coming.
yeah,
You should go to it.
yeah. Is different in person? Like
It's just
the
different,
hearing the
man.
thuds of the
Yeah, and just
just
like
bone on bone.
the last one that was here, there's 10 fights, 10 knockouts.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's just like it's crazy, and everything is like so much more severe.
yeah,
Like you don't want to waste a punch because you could break a hand
yeah,
easier. You don't want to get hit because you can get dropped or cut easier.
yeah,
So it's just like it's just so different.
yeah,
Even with sparring with Nash, who so we go this week and we're going down to Connecticut.
yeah.
He's doing his third fight. But even like when I'm sparring him,
Hmm.
like I'm on my background's boxing,
Yeah,
where it's like you can take risks,
yeah,
you can kind of like take one to give one.
yeah,
But when I'm sparring him and I'm like, okay, if that was bare knuckle, like there's no way I would have kept going.
yeah,
I would have had to stop. I would have had to like readjust.
yeah.
And I feel like that with MMA gloves too.
Oh yeah,
But then it's just like a step down from that.
yeah,
Because when I spar with Eric and Nash with MMA gloves, even
yeah.
it's like some of my boxing stuff wouldn't work.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because it's just like it would get through.
yeah. Exactly.
Whereas
Like any of
boxing,
the
I
high
can just
guard
like
stuff.
I can like catch it
Yeah,
and like be like, okay, like that's fine.
yeah.
But with MMA gloves, it's like I probably don't want to be there.
Yeah, high guard's tricky. It's a whole different thing in MMA. Like people can use it, people do it in MMA, but it's different. It's a lot more like your hands have got to move more. You can't just kind of shell up. You
Right.
got to actually still see where the punches are coming in to be able to move because just covering up the gloves aren't there to protect.
Man.
Yeah, yeah, I don't think I'd ever do bare knuckle either. It just I don't know. I don't even know how you would do you if you're coaching that, do you have any specific way that you coach it, or do you kind of let them set up the game plan for it?
Like the main thing is just like a lot more head movement
Yeah,
and a lot more just like not being there after.
yeah.
Like hitting and leaving instead
What
of
do you make of Mike Perry? I feel like Mike Perry
that.
was really good at it, but his style's the opposite. But I feel like that might
Yeah,
be only Mike Perry can pull that style off.
that's the thing. If you if you have a Mike Perry level chin,
Yeah,
I mean, like what he's doing is working.
yeah, yeah.
Has he lost? I don't think
I don't think in
not
bare
in B.
knuckle he's
No.
lost.
So he's like 5 or 6-0.
Yeah, And
and
he
he's just
wasn't
like
even getting like cut
aggressive.
up or anything
No.
either. Yeah.
So that I mean, I would never I would never coach that
You
style.
never advise anyone to do the Mike Perry strategy.
Yeah. Uh so, yeah, it's tough, man. That's like it's so new too.
Yeah.
It's so new that it's like cuz there's the one guy who's champion I think at lightweight or maybe even lighter, 145. Uh he's like 9 or 10 and 0
Yeah.
and he just like he just clinches all the time.
Oh
So
yeah.
he'll hit, and before they can get momentum, he'll grab, clinch,
Yeah.
push, hit, grab, and he's just always like doing like this push pull thing and then hitting,
Yeah.
and it's just like ugly. He never knocks anyone out. He always goes to decision most of
Mhm.
the time, and it's just like wears them down. And that style's really cool.
Yeah, because you can almost pull in more of like that MMA style, like dirty boxing and like clinching, because you can grab a little bit easier with your hands.
Yeah, and the nice thing about BKFC is as long as you're punching, they
Yeah.
won't break it up.
Oh yeah.
So you
Yeah.
like you can clinch, and as long as you're hitting, they'll let you stay in the clinch too.
Yeah, I saw. I think a little bit ago, there was a guy with a wrestling background. Didn't even have like a boxing or MMA background. He came over from like a wrestling background. He started training some boxing. I think he had like a couple wins like early on in BKFC, just because like they couldn't do, like his wrestling grips transferred over well, and he could wear guys out in the same way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my guy Nash, he's fighting a guy he was in the UFC.
Who is what's his
Uh,
name? Do you
but
remember?
I can't remember his last name. Slippery Pete.
I
But
don't
I can't.
remember.
Oh, I can never remember his last name. But he has a good, decent record. I think he's like 18-6
Oh yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
He fought twice in the UFC, but he lost both. He won the Contender Series, or he won his fight on the Contender Series, got to
Okay.
the UFC, and then lost
Yeah.
all of his fights in the UFC. But um, he he kind of is good at kickboxing. He doesn't really move his head that much.
Yeah.
Like he's never boxed before.
Oh yeah.
Um, but he's also good at like the clinch stuff. So
Yeah.
so Nash has been working with Eric a lot, Eric Wilson,
Okay. Yeah.
to get like the clinching, to get away, get back to boxing.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been focusing a lot on for this one is just like being good at the clinch.
Yeah, because it is like kind of like a forgotten skill in boxing, I feel like.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I know for me, when I get in close, I never grab.
Yeah.
I'm always just like bumping.
Yeah.
Just like bump, hit.
Yeah.
And I know like even when I spar with you,
Yeah.
like you even do like those little things where you like put your
Yeah.
arm on my bicep
Yeah.
and then I can't throw.
It's like almost like it's a thumb grip. You just put it
Yeah.
on the bicep, and it like covers any punches from coming in. It's also that's a wrestling technique. I'll put my thumb on the bicep so the guys can't get the collar ties, and it just like carries over to MMA and boxing. And if you don't want to get hit, you just cover the bicep, and then
Mm,
if they go to hit, then they get kind of stuck, and you can kind of like counter off it.
yeah. That pisses me off.
Yeah. And then the other one that pisses guys off is just putting your hands over the gloves.
Yeah.
A lot of MMA guys do that. It's just when you're in tight, instead of just shelling up, just covering the top of the gloves, and then you go to throw and your hands are trapped down there. I think Jesse does that a lot as well.
All those wrestling tricks.
Yeah.
How for you, how was it transitioning from wrestling to jujitsu?
The switch from wrestling to jujitsu was pretty easy.
Nice.
I actually did a lot. Like I did some MMA when I was like 13 for like about a year there. So I wrestled since I was in grade 4, or whatever it was, just because it was like in our school, and I did all the school sports at that age. So I started in grade 4, didn't take it seriously till like grade 8 is when we were allowed to go out to the high school team. Even though we were at the elementary school, we would like bus over. Like there was a few of us, and then what was it? Once I got to high school, I was like 13. I started doing some MMA stuff as well. We had like the wrestling coach at the time, or the assistant wrestling coach. He was like an MMA fighter. He was like 3-0 professional, and he's kind of retired, but he was like still training with like a group of guys that were like kind of retired professional fighters up in Flin Flon, and we just like they renovated a guy's garage, and they just like covered it in mats and everything, and it was like turned into a gym basically. And so I started training with like all these older retired fighters up in Flin Flon when I was like 13 for a year.
Mm,
And then made Team Canada for the under 17 team or whatever as an alternate. And I basically decided uh, that I should just go straight into like wrestling and not do as much MMA stuff until later because it's like it makes sense to just like pursue that since I have like an opportunity to like do really well at that and like go and get like an education paid for and all that kind of stuff.
mhm.
So I focused more on wrestling and then kind of came back to jujitsu like 5 years ago or so. And it was like super easy going back to it because I'd already learned kind of the basics when I was younger and then just like had all that wrestling knowledge as well to add on to it. And the striking took a little bit longer to kind of get comfortable with, but it's all like the same principles I found as in wrestling. It's all like the faking is all like the way that you set up attacks and everything is kind of all the same. It's just different movements. So like
Right.
if I'm like feinting to the body, then he has to cover his body. His head becomes a little bit more open. It's the same with wrestling. It's like you're faking the legs. He has to block that so then you can snap him down a little bit easier. It's just like all the systems that you're doing are the same. It's just you got to do different things to make those systems work.
Right,
Yeah,
right, right.
yeah.
I think how old are you?
25.
25. So when I met you, you're probably like 19,
I think
18,
so.
18,
Yeah, I would have
19.
been 20. I think 20 years old.
'Cause it
That was
was
like the first gym at Jose's
yeah,
that we you came to
in
spar with a
the
group of guys.
basement.
Yeah,
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 Rolls Academy.
yeah. Earl's Academy.
And that was right before COVID.
I think that was during
Oh,
COVID.
during
I
COVID.
think
Oh yeah.
because that's how I started training there. Is I called around to a bunch of gyms and I was like, it was like the first week that COVID came on, and I was like, who's training? And they were all like, no, we're shut down. And he was like, oh yeah, come on by.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
think that was
then
like at somewhere in when things are supposed to be shut down, I think, and
yeah,
it was not shut down at his gym.
there was a lot of training going on
There was a lot of
that
weird like that's a weird that's when I got into MMA because all the wrestling stuff shut down, but MMA was a little bit more like like so the wrestling was through the like the university, so they were shut down for a long time. Even after like stores and everything became open, the wrestling took like a long time to come back because the university was like waiting a long time for whatever reason. Um, MMA stuff and the boxing stuff was like you could find it, you just had to look in weird spots. Like I remember, did you ever come with that group? We went out to some guy's barn and we boxed. The guy had a boxing ring in his barn and
yeah,
we boxed
yeah.
in,
I think
in
that was one of the yeah, cause yeah, we sparred a couple times out there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And we
Yeah.
boxed in a guy's barn. We boxed in your backyard a couple times
Oh
with a
yeah,
group of guys. We
yeah.
did.
That's wild. I
we
forgot about that too.
we would like Jose's place, we would go down to the basement there and then people would just kind of you kind of just had to know people that knew people and
Yeah.
I would hear about gyms and they'd be like come on by and I would come by and the doors would like be locked at random spots and then I would like knock and they'd be like they would like let me in. There's like 20 guys in there training.
No masks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Oh
It was
man.
a weird time to get into MMA.
Just the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
I remember the first time uh at Jose's gym because we did some boxing and stuff, but
Yeah.
then and then we wrestled
Oh yeah, yeah.
and man, I felt like a child.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. How you man, I don't know what you did, but all of a sudden I was just like this because I was on you actually. I don't know, but then all of a sudden you did some bear hug, and then like I was stuck like this, and then you just rolled, and then you had full mount, and I'm just like I don't know what happened, but I felt like an infant. And so thank you.
Yeah, yeah, no, well, that it was the same thing when because we were doing boxing rounds, and I remember I think you did like 12 rounds, 12-3. Like everyone was out of shape because it was COVID, and you did like 12 rounds straight where you just stayed in, and new guys kept rotating in, and then they would get tired, and then they'd be like, "I'm done," and a new guy would come in, and you went for like 12 rounds straight, and I was like, "Who the heck is this guy that just showed up at the gym?" And I was like, I gotta like spar with this guy some more because I was like, I need to get that cardio push.
Yeah, and you've improved, man. Because
Yeah, yeah,
sparring at Gary's,
yeah, yeah,
like way different than when we first were sparring.
yeah, yeah. I think that was like 2 months into when I like started training again for that was like 2 months into my striking training at least.
What do you feel like for like transitioning from wrestling into MMA? The nice thing about uh wrestling, I feel like, especially for like the level you were at, is that
Yeah,
there's a lot of competition, right? So like you're competing often.
for wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
lots of
yeah,
tournaments, lots of matches. So you get kind of familiar with people watching you compete.
yeah,
You get really familiar with even like uh even with like losses,
yeah.
and like not taking them as like my whole life is now over.
Mm-hmm,
The one issue I find with boxing, like amateur boxing,
mm-hmm.
a lot of the guys didn't really compete in singular sports. So like
Yeah,
they did basketball or hockey or
mm-hmm,
football where it's like way easier to lose because you can blame it on other
yeah,
people. But like that individual, so they take losses hard.
mm-hmm,
Some people they lose their first amateur boxing match and they never come back.
yeah,
They
yeah,
think it's like was for a title or something. They
yeah,
fought in some guy's gym
yeah,
and there's like 19 people in there and it's like, come on, like it's fine.
yeah, yeah,
So I feel like for you though, you've probably built like a pretty strong relationship with having eyes on you.
yeah,
Um, and like even like taking losses as like learning
mm-hmm,
instead of the other way.
yeah. So so the actual like grappling itself is like beneficial if you come from a wrestling background, but I think the most important thing, I think that is the most important thing that you get that makes the wrestlers transition MMA like really much better than other combat sports is just being able to compete that often. We were talking about it as well, like before my last fight, because I was like, some of the guys are like missing weight, and they're like the champion of the weight class, and they're fighting for a belt or whatever it is. They're deep into their MMA career, but they're missing weight, and I'm like, I just can't like imagine like not making the weight because I'm like I've never missed weight for wrestling, and I was like, oh, but like, even if they're the champion of the weight class, if they fought like 10 times or whatever, they might have only like made weight 10 times in their life. Like,
Right.
I'm making weight 10 times a season for like however many, like 10 years straight,
Right.
basically. Like, probably more than that, because in wrestling, you weigh in, if you have a 2-day tournament, you weigh in both days.
Right. Right.
And so I'm making weight like between 10 and 20 times a year for like 10 years straight, and you just like have it down to a science, and you know your body and you know all that stuff. And then same thing with competing, just like i was I was that's what drew me to wrestling first, is because I came from all those team sports, and I was like, we sucked in every team sport we played, and we'd always lose, and I'd be like, well, it's like not my fault, I did good. And then I go to
Shout out
wrestling.
Flim Flon.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, so yeah, in hockey, we weren't a bad hockey team, but our coaches would always be like, go to the best tournaments and play the best guys. And we weren't like, we're a small town, like, or small
Right.
city, I guess technically, but like small. And we would just get destroyed like 10-0 or whatever. And then but we were like a tough team, so we would just like fight. And we were like young kids and everything, so we would just go there and fight, and we'd be like, at least we won the fights. And we get 10-0. And then that was how we like felt like we won. But yeah, it's, you can easily just blame like other people on the team. And then when I was wrestling, I was like, oh, this is like all on me. So like the harder I work, the more I can like increase my chances of like winning. And it's not like in hockey, it's like I could work really hard and it wouldn't have an impact on the game because other guys might be slacking off just as hard as I'm working, kind of, and it would
Mm.
just balance out. Whereas if it's a singular sport, I can just work hard and I put all my effort into it. And if I lose, then I still like tried my best, and like it's all on me. Whatever it is, it's like win or loss, it's all on me. And so I like that a lot. And yeah, the other thing is what was I gonna say about the competition translating over to MMA? It's that's the one thing that I really liked when I switched over to MMA, is for so long in wrestling, like the last however like 5 years of my wrestling career, I just didn't get any nerves at all before I'd go compete because I
Nice.
like trained it out of my body to like I got so used to competing that I would be like going to compete at world championships and I'd be like, I'm not nervous at all. And you kind of want those nerves, like even just a little bit for the competition. So I'd have to like hype myself up a lot before I would go out there to compete because I'm like I literally just feel like I'm like walking into like class or like I'm walking to like get a coffee or whatever, like, and I'm going out to compete on the world stage, and you'd have to get yourself going so that you could actually like use those nerves to compete. And then I went to MMA, and I was like, oh, I was like, I'm getting like nerves again. I like it, and I was like excited to feel nerves.
Yeah,
Like I haven't felt this in like years. And so yeah, my coaches were like, "That's like not a normal thing that we hear for someone's like first fight is that they're excited to feel the nerves. Usually they're like, I'm so nervous. What am I gonna do?" And they're like, they don't know how to use those nerves. Whereas like me, I was like, I'm ready for these nerves. Like it's fun. Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's
What
so,
about you? You get nervous for your boxing fights?
I don't,
No.
but I think it would also be different because I'm gonna go pro this year.
Hmm.
Is my plan,
Yeah.
but I think it'll be different because like
As a pro.
yeah,
Yeah.
because amateur, like I know and I try to explain this to my boxers, but I understand that amateur is glorified practice.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
means nothing,
It all goes away as soon as you go pro.
right?
Yeah.
And unless you're competing at a national level,
Yeah.
international level, Olympic level,
Yeah.
it really means nothing.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I never would get nervous either. It
Yeah.
was like it just wasn't. I just love boxing,
Hmm.
and I love fighting good boxers, like
Hmm.
people that are better than me or as good as me. So it just didn't really matter.
Hmm.
Um, because I knew I'm not going. I'm not doing this to be in the Olympics. I'm
Yeah.
not doing this to go like international. Like when I started amateur boxing, I was 32.
Is that when you started?
Yeah,
I didn't even realize that.
yeah. I didn't start amateur boxing till
Like practicing or like competing, you mean?
well, because I was kickboxing and doing MMA
Yeah.
for a long time,
Yeah.
and then after it wasn't until after COVID I transitioned to boxing.
Oh, before COVID, you were just doing kickboxing and MMA?
Well, I just started boxing right before
I see.
COVID,
Yeah.
with like Hub City
Mhm.
boxing,
Yeah.
and then COVID happened.
Mm.
And then I like really got into boxing, and then I
Mhm.
just transitioned into boxing. Uh, but before that, I was still doing kickboxing, uh, not jujitsu as much. I kind of stopped doing jujitsu,
Yeah.
but so yeah, I didn't really start boxing until way late. So
Hmm.
I just always figured I would do amateur for like 2 3 years, see
Yeah.
how that went, and then I'd just go pro. And so like I understood that like I'm just amateur boxing to get better.
Yeah.
So if this guy beats me, there's a reason.
Mhm.
Now there's something I can go home and work on,
Yeah.
you know? Uh but like for some of the younger guys who are looking at going to the Olympics,
Mhm.
or I can understand where they get frustrated
Yeah.
or get like super nervous,
Mhm.
especially on bigger tournaments. But for a lot of guys, I'm just like, hey, it's just this one doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to win, you want to go do good. Just do that. Just
Yeah.
go do good,
Yeah.
and then we'll see how it
That's the
goes.
best way I found for like dealing with nerves is like just separating yourself from the outcome, being like I work hard, I like just yeah, making sure that your training camp or any training you have leading up to it, you're like I did everything I could in that
Yeah.
training and you can't do anything else and just being like all I can do at this point is just try my hardest and if I lose like I can still look back and be like I tried my hardest, there's nothing else I could have done. And
Mhm.
just it after you do that, just enjoying the moment because you're like this is why we do all this hard work is so that we can enjoy actually fighting. Like fighting's fun for
Fun,
most
man. It's
people.
so fun.
Like that's why I am in this sport is because like once I'm in the cage, it's the most fun like
Mhm.
I could have like I would rather do that than anything else. It's the most fun. But just like the whole like leading up to it, like you get nervous leading up to it. just as soon as you're in there, you're like, you know that you're going to be having fun. So just like think about that and be like, all I can do is try my hardest.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, nothing to be nervous about.
Yeah, and I know like one of the last fights I had, I fought Josh Ofori, who's like he's won nationals three
Oh
times.
yeah.
He just went to an international tournament where all the national champs fought, and
Oh yeah.
he's like planning on going to the Olympics, like very high
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
And I fought him on 6 days notice
Yeah.
because my my guy pulled out, and they're like, "Well, you could fight Josh, but you have to cut 10 more pounds."
They made you cut 10 more
And they made
pounds
me
to
cut 10 more pounds too.
national
I
champion.
was like, okay, I'll do it, whatever. And that was the most fun I had in a fight
Yeah.
because I'm very used to being just calm,
Yeah.
and I'm very like a high pressure fighter
Mhm.
where I kind of bully people.
Yeah.
And it's just like easy,
Yeah.
And as the rounds go, it gets easier because
Mhm.
they get more tired, and I usually have a good gas tank.
Yeah.
But fighting him
Mhm.
was just different,
Mhm.
and I could hear what his coach was saying.
Yeah.
And his coaching was so good because
Oh, yeah.
his everything he was saying was exactly what I was doing. Like he just could see what I was doing
Yeah.
or trying to set up, and I was just like, man, he's that's a good coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was just saying the perfect things,
Yeah.
and like how they worked together was very, very well done.
Mhm.
And and then in the second round, I felt myself get a step behind,
Mm.
where all of a sudden he was like a step ahead of me on things.
Mhm.
And I could just feel it, and I was just like, oh man, this is tricky. And then I had to like think, and I found myself overthinking,
Mhm.
and I was like, dang, this is not going well. And it just kept like, as the rounds went,
Yeah.
he started figuring me out.
Oh yeah.
And then it was just like, and then he ended up winning.
Mhm.
And it was so fun though. I was
Yeah.
just like, man, that was cool.
Mhm.
It's obviously Saskatchewan is one of the bottom provinces for boxing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's one of the last. Um, but so it's hard to find good sparring, right? Like
Yeah.
high level sparring
Yeah.
here. So to be able to step in the ring and like kind of see what that looks like and
Mhm.
feels like was cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be really beneficial, especially like that's what I never understood is a lot of guys will even like pick and choose their record in MMA, like for amateur MMA as well. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why do you want to be 5-0 undefeated as an amateur and then just like get killed you're going to have a harder time finding fights as a pro now that you're undefeated amateur, like champion or whatever. It's like, take the hard fights as an amateur and like learn stuff. And then if you have like a, like 50-50
50-50. Yeah.
record going as a pro, you'll get easier fights and you'll be better for it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's actually a very good point.
Yeah, like there's no like I see a lot of guys that I've seen a few guys that have been kind of coming into MMA that are that do that where they have like a really good amateur career and then because of that they get tough fights right off the start as a pro and they go on a losing streak or they have a tough time in there and I'm like, you did it to yourself. You should have just taken any fight because it's like you're all like kind of cherry picking your fights. I think if you unless you're really good. If you go undefeated as an amateur, I'm like, I feel like you probably just pick and choose your opponents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even just like stylistically,
Yeah, get
you
guys
know,
that challenge you as like just all the different styles and
it just
everything.
happens to be the thing you're not good at.
Yeah,
It's, yeah, it's
yeah,
tough. It's tough not, it's tough not to, I guess even it's harder here too with amateur MMA
hmm
in Saskatchewan is just
yeah.
dumb.
Well, there's no MMA scene in
Yeah.
Saskatchewan right now, so that's
That's
what I keep
annoying.
saying is like if anyone wants to like we're trying to get Unified to come in here, like the promotion I fight for. To I think that's their plan eventually is if I can get the belt, then they could like have me headline the show here. They could fill it up with we have a bunch of fighters here, but we just don't have a scene here. So
Right.
it's like free for the taking. If anyone wants to just like take over all of Saskatchewan, all they need to do is put on like one MMA show here, and then like people will just like remember the name, and every time you have another show here, they'll come back out because
Yeah.
there's nobody else doing it here.
What
So yeah, we're trying to get Unified to come here.
What is your
Yeah.
thoughts on like Canadian MMA in general?
It's so it's fake. It's all fake. Like, so it's weird because I didn't realize it until I got into it. But like, you see all these guys that are like, they're all the tough guys, like the hometown hero, like MMA fighter that's like on like I don't know, like a 6 fight win streak, and they're like, this guy's going to the UFC. It's like he is, or maybe not him, but his coaches or whoever's getting him fights, might be him, is like picking and choosing his opponents so that he can win. They don't want a tough fight. And I didn't realize it till I was in that spot. And I'm coming from that wrestling background where you show up, you sign up for the tournament, you wrestle whoever's in front of you. So like I've
Yeah.
gone and it's been like I've gone to world championships. First round, I have the returning world champion that I have to compete against, and there's no like, no, I don't want to do that. It's like you just do it, or like you don't sign up for the tournament. So
Right.
I came into MMA with that mindset where I'm like, I'll fight whoever. Like I wouldn't be here if I don't think that I'm the best, at least within my like um so like obviously I don't think that I'm like UFC champion like right now, but I wouldn't be like challenging for the belt in this unified if I didn't think I was like the best guy in Canada or the best guy on the regional scene. Like there's a lot of these guys out there that just don't have like the self-belief, but they're getting all the fights to build their record and make them look like they should be in the UFC. And then when they get to the UFC, I think Canada is 0-4 in the last year on guys that have like gotten into the UFC or gotten into contender series, and then they've everyone has lost from Canada because they won't take any hard fights until they get to the UFC, and then they go up against a guy that's been taking lots of hard fights to get there, and they get like embarrassed because they're
Right.
not at that level because they haven't faced adversity on the regional scene yet. So I don't know. I think it's kind of fake because a lot of the guys don't want to fight the best guys. They want to fight guys they know they can beat so that they can make their record look good so they can get into the UFC, just to say that they were in the UFC, even if they went like 0-1, 0-2, like they can still say I was a UFC fighter, and then they can open a gym and sell a bunch of monthly passes or whatever to all their members because they're like, I get to train under a UFC fighter. But
Mm.
yeah, that's not what I'm in the sport for. I want to,
Would you fight in the States?
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
we've been looking in the States. I've gotten turned down a lot in the States as well. Um, we are trying to get a fight going down in the States in between. Unified's next card for me would be October 3rd, and I should be fighting on that one. But we're trying to find a thing in the States in between there right now. And I haven't heard anything else about that. But yeah, we've been looking in the States for the past like year or so as well. And it's been tough to find fights down there. And the guys that they're offering, the guys that are saying yes are guys that are like, oh, this guy's 16-4. And
Mm.
it's like, I'll fight him, but like, I'm 2-0. So it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's those are the guys. So even a lot of those guys are saying like no as well. So my last fight where I fought Cal like 2 weeks ago, we got offered a fight down in the States against a guy that was like 16-4, and then we got offered the one in at Unified like right afterwards. So we ended up taking the Unified one because I'm like, I want to fight in Canada if I can, because I feel like I want to build that like hometown like you'll get more like fans from fighting in Canada, and you want to build that like pride from like all of Canada supporting you when you get to the next level. So I always prefer to fight in Canada if I can. But yeah, that's the kind of guys that we're getting offered down in the States. It was like guys that are like deep into their careers.
Right.
And then even we had a couple guys that canceled like the week before the fight that were supposed to come up and fight me. And those guys were American and their records were similar. I think there was a guy that was Anthony Ivy. He was about the same. He had probably about 20 fights. He fought in PFL, Bellator, UFC. I think all those. He was supposed to come up and fight me. He didn't get on the plane. Then they had Ty Werder.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, he fought in Bellator a bunch. He was 8-4 or something like that. He was supposed to come up and fight me. He got injured right before that as well. So yeah, it's like the Americans that are willing to fight me are guys that are like have way more MMA experience than me. And I guess that'd be the same thing that I'm looking for here in Canada as well. But yeah, it I don't know. It should be easier to find guys in the States, but a lot of them I think, agree to it and then realize who they agreed to, and then they cancel it. So that's what we've been.
Once they dig into who you
Yeah,
are.
that's what we've been experiencing. We've had like uh in the last month or whatever, we had like three guys that canceled last minute, and they were all American guys. So I'm guessing that they just didn't look into who they were fighting. They were like, "Yeah, I'll do it," and then they realized it close to the fight and canceled.
Have you so in your three fights, have you have you gotten everyone to the ground?
Um, yeah, yeah. There wasn't anyone that I didn't take down in any of my fights. The last guy was the guy that actually defended it the best, the boxer, which is was interesting. I know because he was his whole game plan. He told me afterwards, he was like, I wasn't worried about your striking. He was like, I wanted to defend the takedown because he's like, I thought like if I could keep you on the feet, I would just like take over the fight as it went on.
Mm.
So he was like hands down and everything, and just
Yeah.
like his main focus was to defend the takedown. I took him down 2 times, but he was like pretty scrambly, and he like got back to his feet both times. And then I just decided I was like, I'm gonna just box with him for a little bit and see how that's going, because I'm like, there's no way that he's like smooth enough with his hands down, because I was like, I watched some of those his other fights, and I was like, he doesn't fight with his hands down in his other fights, so he's probably not used to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just started punching, and they were landing, so I
Yeah.
just stuck with it.
So he was kind of just hoping you got a little bit tired from trying to take him down.
I think so. I think he was like, yeah, he's like, if he can't take, like, I think he was hoping that my striking wasn't very good. Like he was hoping that my boxing wasn't as good as, uh, yeah, just wasn't very good. And then he would stop the takedowns, and I would give up on trying to take him down, and then he would be able to just beat me up on the feet. But
Mm.
yeah, he didn't know that I've been training striking quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good too because even your boxing has gotten sneaky.
Yeah.
You got like you figured out some things that you're good at,
Yeah.
and you land them well,
Yeah.
and it's frustrating.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good, man.
Yeah.
Um, have you have you done like many jujitsu tournaments, or
No,
you're just
I've
not that
I've
in?
only done 2 jujitsu tournaments, I think. Um, I just don't have interest in like, you gotta like pay for everything. You gotta
Mm.
like nothing's covered in jujitsu. Like you gotta pay for any travel. You gotta pay to enter the tournament. You gotta do all that, and then it's like risk of injury is there. And like
Right, I
I
see.
did, I don't have an interest in doing a jujitsu tournament after I did the last one, and it was like a best of 3 match against the one guy, because there's also like a ton of like different, I don't know what you would call it, but you might not compete against everyone that's in your weight class, where like there's like you got to do there's black belt division, there's blue belt division, there's like the senior division, there's like the under 40 division, there's like all these different like age, weight, belt groups. So it's like there might be guys that I could compete against at the same weight as me, but that we're just like, there's so many different divisions that like a lot of times you end up just competing against like 2 other people, even though there's like 10 people you could compete against. um so I don't like that part of it, and I don't like paying for it, and then there's
Yeah.
risk of injury, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Like the last one, it was in Saskatoon, so I didn't have to pay for any like travel or anything, but I went and did it, and then there was just me and one other guy, and we just did a best 2 or 3, or we did 3 matches, and then I beat him the first 2. The third one, I was trying to get like fancy, and I I put him in a calf slicer, and then he like kicked out, and I ended up like tearing my LCL or whatever in my knee, and I was like, well, that was stupid. Like, why did I enter this
Mhm.
tournament and just like hurt myself, and I don't gain anything from it? And I was like, I've competed enough with wrestling. Like, I'm not really getting too much experience here. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't like it. I did the like a grappling super fight. My last opponent, like I flew in for the fight,
Oh,
and
I
he didn't
remember
get
that too.
on the plane, and so they found a local jujitsu guy from Toronto that was he competed at the World Championships a few times for Canada. He was like multiple time national champion. He was like a purple belt world champion. He was now like couple stripe black belt. Like he was pretty high level grappler, and we just did a no gi like 10-minute sub only match in the cage, and that was pretty fun. I had a lot of people messaging me afterwards, being like, "How can I do this? Like, where is this promotion that does like these grappling in the cage fights?" And I was like, I think it's just a one off thing. Like, I don't think anyone does it, but it was mainly just because my opponent didn't show up.
And you guys went the full 10 minutes?
We went to full 10, and I had a choke locked in with like when the
Oh,
time went, and I was like, oh, if I only had a couple, I was like, oh, I wonder how it would have played out if I had a couple more seconds in there.
right.
Because it was like my go-to choke is like a Darce as well, and I had him in that choke, and I was like, I feel like I could finish it on him, but I don't know. He was pretty tricky, so I don't know.
Do you have like a lot, like a back when you were wrestling?
Yeah.
Do you have like a moment, or even like maybe it was a win, maybe it was a loss, or just like a moment that like really changed your mentality when it comes to like competition? Did you have like a moment where it was like, okay, I need to like be way more serious, or
Um,
were you always just like,
no, I was always pretty serious about it. Um, I think there was like a moment where there's been a couple moments where I've been like, oh, I can compete with like the next level. There's been a couple of those moments, like um you never feel it until you're like people say you have to be like the champion before you can like become the champion or whatever. For me, it's always been kind of like I've never thought of myself as like a national champion or whatever, and then I'm there and I'm like, oh, I can compete here. It's kind of the
Mhm.
opposite for me, where I just like I'm doing the right things and everything. So if that's what people mean by be the champion to become the champion, then I get it. But like I don't know. For me, I've never like thought of myself at a level until I'm there. I just kind of like if I work hard and do the right things, we'll see where it plays out. Kind of like separating myself from that outcome again. But when I won nationals the first time in grade 11, I think it was the under 17 nationals for like the trials for the world team. It was against a guy that he won the junior world team spot. He was my age, but he won like the under 20 spot. So he was like the age group above. He won that one like the week before. And then he came in and he was like the heavy favorite to win like the younger age group because he's like already won the age group above us. And I ended up beating him in the finals. And I was like, oh, I can compete at like not just like the high school level. I'm like, this guy just beat all the guys that were like in university. I was like, I can compete at like that level as well. And then the second time where I felt that was at like world championships when I won my bronze medal at the junior world championships a couple years later. I it was against a guy that he's now I think he might have gone to the Olympics. He's like a senior silver like world silver medalist. So he was like second in the world for 1 year there, and he was the guy that I competed against in the bronze medal match there, and I was expecting him to be like really good. He was like from Georgia, and that's like a really big wrestling country over there. So I was like, he's gonna be good. He's gonna be like training since he was like 2 years old or whatever. And I just like outpaced him, and he got tired, and I just like beat him up for the full 6 minutes and won the match. And I was like, oh, I can compete at like the international level too. And it's just like then it's like all like mindset switches. Like once I did it, I was like, oh, I can keep doing it, and then every match after that, I'm like identifying with like, no, you like belong here. You can compete at that level. So I've had those, but I've never had like things where I'm like, okay, I need to take it serious. I feel like I was always kind of taking it serious.
Right. Did you ever wrestle against somebody who you really looked up to, or like idolized,
Um,
or not really?
no, I so kind of different, but yeah,
Okay.
my so my dad used to make us wrestle him until we were old enough to beat him because when I was like grade 9 or 13 or whatever, I was like I could probably take you now. And then he's like a big guy. He's like 6 foot, like he's probably like 240, 250 pounds at the time. And I'm like this 13-year-old kid. And he's like, yeah, you got a few years before you can take me. And he's like, we can do a wrestling match if you want. And we did like actual wrestling because he he coached some wrestling back when he was like younger, so he knew all the rules and everything. And so we did like we got the mats out. We did like a wrestling match with I think my brother was like reffing it and like keeping score. And he beat me in the first one, and then I'm like, we got to do it again next year. And then I beat him the next year, and then my younger brother was like, I could probably take you now. And then he's like, okay, well, you're wrestling me every year until you can beat me now too. And then I got like another younger brother. He waited till he was he never said anything because he watched us like wrestling my dad. And then it was, I think it was like his second year that he came back from university. Like he wrestled with the Huskies, and it was like a second year of university. He's like, I could probably take you now. My dad was like, yeah, of course you could. He's like, you're a grown man now. You should be able to take me.
You're a grown ass man.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, you're a grown man that's been wrestling with the university wrestling team. He's like, we're not even gonna do it now. He's like, there's no point.
That's funny. I always tell it to Demi for Royce.
Yeah.
He's 2. He just turned 2.
Yeah.
I'm like, I probably got like 16, 15 years of just whooping this kid. I feel like he's going to be huge, though.
You think so?
So it might be less. It might be like 14 years. But do you have a ton of like your past mentors and coaches that you talk to still and or go train with, or just give them a shout sometimes, or have you kind of just
here or there? Like I got I guess so. Here or there, like if I go back to Flin Flon, I'll message with my old like wrestling MMA coach from back in Flin Flon every once in a while, and I've gone and like hit pads at his house when I've been back there a couple times, and then coaches from wrestling. I still drop into like the wrestling room a couple times just to like work with the young guys, and I'll see them then and say hi to them then, and then MMA coaches are just still with the same guys that I started with over at Modern there, and so a little bit here and there. What about you? Do you do the same thing? Do you have
well, man,
anything you keep up with?
Yeah, I try and man, I moved so much.
Oh yeah.
I honestly I worked with so many different people.
Yeah.
And I always try and if I'm around where they are to stop in.
Yeah.
Say hi, do a workout. But it's hard to keep track. You know, and like I did so many different things too.
Yeah.
And now that I'm just focused on boxing, it's also a little bit different because a lot of the guys I started with was kickboxing.
Yeah.
Like Siam in Regina.
Okay.
It's like a Muay Thai gym I started over there, and then like Regina Boxing Club doesn't even exist anymore.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you know Daryl Bankson. He used to coach my auntie, but he's in the States now, so it's just hard to, keep track of.
Yeah.
But I try and talk, just keep in touch, say hi. But yeah, probably not that much anymore.
Yeah.
Just kind of, even now, like I don't really even have a coach.
Yeah, I guess so, because you are kind of the coach there, hey?
Yeah, so I try and come and work with you guys. I try and go work with Gary. I try and go work, with Vicky and with Graham. I just kind of jump around. Ed, Ed, the older guy who corners me.
Oh
He corners me in my fights, but he doesn't really coach me.
Yeah.
He'll come in and watch and stuff, and just he kind of knows my style, so he knows. But yeah, I don't really, which is a little bit. Like honestly, after fighting Josh and just kind of seeing that interaction with him and his coach and how well they know each other.
Yeah.
And how well he listens and how well I was like kind of like, dang, I wish I had like a coach.
Yeah, it's a big like benefit, I feel like and also finding like a coach that works with your style, because I always talk about that with Adam and Kurt. They have like a very calm style of coaching where they'll just be like talking to me. They'll be like, okay, start working this now. Like I can hear them in the cage. They're not like frantic, but because I feel like me, I wouldn't respond well to a coach coming in and being like, have you seen like Leon Edwards' coach come in there? He's like, Leon, you gotta go now. And I'm like, I don't think I would really like. I think that would freak me out. I would probably like, gas out in that fight if I was just like my coach is just like losing his mind every time he talked to me. I would be like, oh my god, I must be like just getting destroyed in this fight.
Hmm.
Like it would freak me out. Even if I was getting just beat up in the fight, like that's like the last thing that I would want is
Hmm.
just a coach coming in and just being like frantic. I'd be like, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Cause it's like, I don't know. Some people might respond to that, but like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't respond at all to that kind of coaching. It's just like, tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, like having a coach that like works with your style.
Right.
And then you'll see that with you know Greg Jackson, like the MMA coach. I've seen videos where for each fighter he kind of has like a different attitude in the corner. Like some fighters he like hypes them up and he's like you're doing great, you're doing all this stuff. And then some fighters he's like like he tells it to them straight. And it's like each fighter he knows what they need in the corner, so he like
That's
tailors
good.
his coaching for that. So I feel like having a coach that like really works with the way that you need to be coached is like a big benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Even for sometimes I'll bring my second
Mhm.
because like I'm a very calm person.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't get excited. I
Mhm.
don't get like. I don't freak out.
Yeah.
But sometimes they do need that.
Yeah.
So I'll bring somebody
Yeah.
with me
Mhm.
who's more like that.
Yeah.
Like, come on, we gotta.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm just not that guy.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna tell you what's going on, you know.
Yeah.
And I've also had fighters who have been like, just please don't yell at me in there. I'm like, I
It's
don't yell. I'm
it's
not
such
a
a funny
yeller.
thing to be like, I'm fine with getting punched in the face, but please don't yell at me.
It's funny. Um, and it, yeah, it's fun. Have you cornered?
I've never cornered fights. I've cornered a lot of wrestling,
Okay, yeah.
but
It,
it's
it's
different. Yeah.
it's interesting to see how people take things too,
Mhm.
because like some people I can tell they're not hearing anything I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're just blank.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
just like, I wonder what's going on in there. Because you're just nodding, and I'm like, I know everything
Yeah.
I'm saying is not going in there.
Yeah. Well, they'd be in like fight or flight probably, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they're like not hearing anything. They're just thinking like survive, survive, survive.
yeah.
And then like some people like the cardio is like they get super exhausted and you can tell they're not like I had one friend he was like he uh he was super like he wrestled with us in grade 12. He didn't do any cardio. Cardio was his weakness, but he was like really strong. So he would just overpower everyone in the first round or he would get pinned. He never went to the second round in an or in a wrestling match till he got to provincials and it was like the semifinals or whatever it was to get to yeah, it would have been the semifinals at provincials. And he had a guy that like he won the first round, but it was like really close. And he came back to the corner, and we're like giving him advice, and he's like leaned over, and we're like he's not hearing any of it. And then we're like, okay, go back out there. He's like, what? Like, we're like, it's not over. You got another round. And he's like, no, call it. We're like, no, get up there. And he went out there and just got pinned right away.
So funny.
He just like didn't even know there was a second round.
I cannot go back out there.
But yeah, some people like I think the cardio gets to them and it's like they're just
Yeah.
trying to like catch their breath and everything. And I feel like that's the big thing. Like if you push cardio in practice, it's a lot easier to like listen to your corners in between rounds.
100%. And
Yeah.
that is like I do a lot of cardio in my coaching.
Yeah.
It's like honestly half of it's cardio, and half of it's technique.
Yeah.
And it's like the cardio isn't something you want to worry about. Like
Mhm.
you don't want that to be on your mind.
Yeah.
Like, can I do 3 rounds?
Yeah.
Because now you have to change your style to adapt to your conditioning,
Mhm.
which might not be how we've been trained. Like,
Mhm.
so it's like you want that. You want to be like 100%. I can do 3 rounds.
Yeah.
With my style.
Yeah.
And like if I can do it or not should not be there.
Mhm.
And that's like the That should not be a thought.
Mhm.
When you're going into a fight, it should not be like, I wonder if I could do 3 rounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you want that to be 100%.
Mhm.
I can do 3 rounds with my style,
Yeah.
and now you can focus on the fight and what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I know, like for a lot of people don't like my style of coaching because it's so cardio heavy.
Mhm.
But then people ask me like, "Oh, how can you go 12 rounds when you haven't even been training?"
Mhm.
And it's like, because like honestly, my cardio is now muscle memory,
Yeah.
which is like sounds not
Mhm.
possible.
Yeah.
But I could not box for 3 months, go into a gym and do more rounds than 90% of the people there. Probably not like the high level competitors,
Yeah.
but most people, I could go do 6 rounds when I'm not training.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and because I just know I can do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like become. So I wish. And have you met Cass, my one boxer, Cass?
I think so.
Her
Possibly.
too. She's like probably one of the boxers that I've coached that has just like done what she's told.
Mhm.
And man, even her first fight, she fought a girl with way more experience, way better boxer technically.
Yeah.
But Cass just outpaced her
Hmm.
and beat her. You know, it just like she was doing the same thing in the third round as she was doing in the first round,
Yeah.
and that other girl wasn't anymore. And she's like, man, that makes fights so easy.
Yeah.
You know, if only round one is a fight,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because anyone's really good for one round, but
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
how are you the second round and the third round? You know?
Yeah, and boxing especially is one of those sports because it's like it's a lot. It is a little bit harder to knock guys out with the big gloves on.
Mm-hmm.
So you can really like get in there and like put a pace on someone.
Yeah, especially amateur.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Big
They
gloves
got like
and the
and those
head skills.
springy gloves.
Yeah,
Like there's so much padding in those gloves.
yeah.
Even like the 10-ounce gloves,
Mm-hmm.
they're not 10 ounce. That's like 16 ounce
You think
because of
so?
like the foaminess of it. It's just like there's no way your knuckles ever touching, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But like the pro gloves are like more solid, more
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's good. I just wish more people could just like figure, like for you, what are some of like your non-negotiables with training?
Um.
I feel like you're like a high level athlete. Like you're
Yeah.
probably one of the top athletes in Saskatchewan
Yeah.
and in Canada, to be honest. So like for you as a high level, you performed at the highest level internationally.
Yeah.
Like what are like those non-negotiables in your training?
So I do. I think my training is like my philosophy on it is a little bit different from a lot of people, especially like um from what I've seen over like wrestling and like in Canada, wrestling and MMA that I've seen in Canada is you said you like to incorporate like a lot of like cardio within your training. Um I like to like separate and focus on every part of it. So like if I'm doing like a cardio intensive workout, it'll be like that'll be the focus for that training.
Mm.
Whereas if I'm doing like technique, I like that to be the focus for the training. And if I'm doing both in the same session, I like to have them like split down the middle almost, where it's like I don't want to be doing cardio, like intensive stuff, and then going into technique or like that kind of thing. I would rather do like all technique at the beginning for like 30 minutes and just do like light drilling and like make sure we're like getting enough rest and everything to perform everything perfectly. And then the cardio intensive stuff is like after that or like separate from that because I feel like I learn best and I improve best when I can like hyper focus on certain areas. And I'll do like the same kind of thing with like the different like martial arts or whatever, right? So like I'll do like a boxing day where I'm like I'm only doing boxing. I'll do like when I'm doing like my kickboxing sparring or my Muay Thai sparring, it's like I'll try to focus like a specific sparring on okay, I won't take this guy down. I'm gonna fight like a Muay Thai or a kickboxing fighter, or I'm gonna be like I'll pick a specific thing for that sparring class where I'm like I'm gonna try to like land a bunch of body shots or I'm gonna fight out a southpaw, and I just try to like hyper focus on specific areas, and I feel like that allows me to really like um, improve quickly in that one area rather than like if I'm just focusing on like a big broad area, it's like little improvements in all of them. I like that big jump in one area, and then I can focus on the next thing and make a big jump there. And
Mhm.
then I feel like that also helps me. I can fight out of a, like, I have a style of fighting, but I can fight out of like, I can change my style. Like, so in your fight, you're saying that he was like figuring you out. If I ever find someone like figuring me out, I feel like I can change up my style a little bit. Like I can kind of like completely change my style, like mid fight and still fight like relatively like good out of it. Um, just maybe not like as good as my main style, but like
Right.
if someone's catching me like orthodox, I'll switch to southpaw. Uh, if someone's beating me in boxing, then I'll switch to like more of like a kick heavy approach. I'll switch to my wrestling. Like that is the benefit of like MMA is that there's so much like styles and martial arts and like different tools that you have that it's like a disservice to not make use of a bunch of different styles and be able to switch styles, I
Mm.
think. So that's kind of how I try to structure my training, is like focusing on specific tasks for that workout and not like focusing on too much. If I focus on too much, then I don't actually improve anything. I just kind of like make small gains in everything. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And a lot of people disagree with me on. I'm not like the best cardio wise. Like my cardio is fine, but it's like there are people that have way better cardio than me. So people always like disagree with me on my approach to cardio. Like I don't like incorporating them together if I can. Um, but I feel like that's what benefits me the most with my technique, is if I can separate them, or even just like if you're going to combine them, have like specific ones for technique, because it's like I really notice a difference if I'm not tired when I'm learning techniques, or if
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
focusing on perfecting my technique. Um, but yeah, I didn't even run up until like a year ago or 2 years ago or something like that. I didn't run at all.
Just from my past.
Well, I literally like last year when I did that marathon, I think I just started running like a couple months before that. Like
That's
I
wild.
didn't run at all.
I'm trying to do a marathon.
Yeah, well, I did it on like I just started. I was like, I'm gonna just start running like half hour a day kind of thing, or not half hour a day, half hour like twice a week. That's how I started running. It's just like light pace, half hour, like twice a week. And then I did that for a couple months, and then I was like, I'm gonna try this marathon.
Yeah.
And I did like a 12K run before it, and then I did a 20K run, and then I was like, okay, I'm good to do the marathon.
That's, and it's I even something Eric talks about is the benefits of like just feeling good. You know,
Yeah.
like you do a heavy cardio or
Hmm.
and then you go do the technique and like the punches aren't as
Yeah.
snappy. Now you're gonna get in your own head
Hmm. Yeah.
and be like, especially if it's like getting close to a fight or
Hmm.
like you're a month out and now your punches aren't snapping and
Yeah.
stuff, and it's like now you're gonna like start like doubt like am I? And he talks about that a lot. Is like it's good to like just get those punches
Yeah.
feeling good, your technique feeling
Yeah.
good. So I think separating can be a
Yeah.
benefit, um, like even just mentally,
There's
like
also a
just like
benefit to
feeling good.
like training. So that's another thing that we do in wrestling as well. There is benefit at like, it has its place doing the like technique and stuff when you're like super tired. So we do these things called burners.
Mhm.
Other places might call them different things, where it's basically, I guess we're not doing technique in those, but basically you are doing like hard exercise for like a minute, like a sprint for like a minute, so that you're like completely gassed by the end of it. And then you will go against like a fresh guy, and it's like, okay, you got 30 seconds, you got to score on him, you got to take him
Mhm.
down. So like just being able to like handle that pressure and like be able to compose yourself and compete while you're tired, there's like benefit there.
It's like react while you're
Yeah.
not feeling the best.
Yeah. But I just like personally, I think, uh, like I've done, like where I'm trying to learn a new technique or trying to learn like get better at a technique that I'm not that comfortable with, and I'm like like super tired from like we're doing it after sparring or whatever, and I'm like I just can't like figure it out, and then I'll try it when I'm fresh and I can like get it like first try, and I'm
Right.
like, oh, that's what the problem is. It's gonna take me way longer if I like am trying to learn these techniques at the end of practice compared to like if I just set aside time at the beginning when I'm fresh, I can like figure these techniques out way quicker.
Mm.
That's what I've noticed a little bit of for myself.
When you, another thing is, you said you go to the wrestling room
Yeah.
and help
Yeah.
out the younger
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Uh, so like, what's your mindset on that? Kind of like being in that mentorship position or being around, these guys probably look up to you quite a bit.
Yeah.
Uh, what's your mindset around, just like passing knowledge on to the young guys?
Yeah. I think like that's the biggest thing. Uh like I would pay attention to it when I was younger. All these guys that were like they would kind of come out of nowhere and they would be like these uh like wrestlers that would just kind of like come on the scene and like win like a national championship or like a world championship or whatever, and they kind of came out of nowhere, and then you look at who they're training with, they're almost always training with like an older guy that was like at that level before them, and they were like that guy's training partner or something, like they always had that guy that was like really high level that was training with them when they were like unknown.
Mm.
um so that's the biggest thing is if you are at that level and you can like once you're kind of like leaving the sport, like for me I'm like leaving the sport of wrestling, but I can still train with these young guys coming up. They're going to be like way better once they get to like that national level because they'll have like felt someone who was at that level already, and
Right.
it's not like something that is completely foreign to them.
Mm.
And it's just like the amount of knowledge that can be passed down when you have a guy that's competed at that level, and you can just pass it down to like specific athletes that you can train with, then it's they'll make like big jumps. I've noticed.
What's like something you've noticed that uh, a lot of the maybe high school level uh, struggle with?
Yeah.
Like maybe it's something you struggled with, or some of the guys you wrestle with struggles with that you try and like point out right away to them so they don't get like stuck in that.
It really is. It's kind of different for everyone. Like the guys that so I train with one of my old training partners. He's still competing over at he's like at the senior level. And then we also have a couple like younger guys like high school guys that'll come out and train with us here or there just because they're around our weight, and there's a couple guys that come train with us that are like top two in the country for under 17s. And those guys have different things that they need to work on compared to like other high school athletes. If it's just like the regular high school wrestling athlete, almost always it's like setups for their shots. I feel like just like they'll just shoot in blindly with no setup.
Mm.
Um, the other thing that guys don't really do is they don't really like chain wrestle. So they don't. It's like they'll just shoot in on. They're like, I'm shooting a double leg, and they're just gonna shoot a double leg, no setup. And then if that gets stopped, they're like, okay, I'll go back to neutral, and I'll go back and I'll redo it. If you're like once you get to the university level and like past that and everything, you're working on like, okay, I need to get him heavy on his feet, and then I can shoot my double leg. And then if he blocks that, then I have my secondary shot that I can work to, or my secondary position that I can work to off of that, and just like chaining it all together. So like high school guys, they almost always like are missing those two parts, the setup and then the uh chaining on to their shot. Um and then the other thing that everyone sucks at in high school, I sucked at it as well, is front headlock is the position, which is like essentially like you're in front of them and you got their head. It's like if they shoot on you and you sprawl on them, you end up in front headlock. Everyone sucks there. Nobody can score from there for whatever reason. And ground, like just in general, Canada is really bad at ground wrestling for some reason. And that was like the biggest change was those two positions for me.
Mm.
So those are two positions, and it's because they're the least fun positions to train. So when I train with those guys, I don't like working that with them because I'm like, I don't
Yeah,
want
yeah.
ground. First of all, has like no benefit to me anymore because I don't do any ground wrestling in MMA. Like it's not part of it. And then front headlock, I would just be looking for chokes more. Like there's still benefit to like being able to get behind someone from there, but it's different because in MMA now I can look for chokes to like help me set that up. So I don't like training that as much with them, but that is what like
Right.
everyone is that age needs to work on is front headlocks, ground, and then just like setups and chain wrestling. Yeah,
Okay, so we're coming up to over an hour here.
yeah,
We'll probably wrap it up here pretty quick.
sounds good.
But I got one more one thing I wanted to know. One more thing I wanted to know
Yeah,
is so for you
yeah.
and your journey and your path and what you're looking to do, if the next 5 years went perfectly, what would that look like?
Uh, UFC champion probably. That's what I'm looking at for the next 5 years here. Ideally, I win, get a few more wins, get in the UFC quickly. Originally, I was like, I'll take however many fights I need outside the UFC as long as I'm like feeling good when I get there. But with how hard it's been to find a fight, I'm like, quicker we can get to the UFC is better.
Right.
Because then it's harder for them to like turn down fights. I just want to be able to fight. So, yeah, get to the UFC quickly, get some wins in the UFC, make my way to the belt, win the belt, and then that's kind of like the goal is to win a UFC belt. So I think that's doable within 5 years as long as everything goes perfectly. So yeah, that'd be my answer. What
That's a
about
good answer.
yeah? What about you? Do you have a if everything went perfectly for you for 5 years, what would it look like?
I mean, yeah, like I'm not looking at like I want to go pro.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at doing anything specific.
Hmm.
I just want to do like maybe 10, 15 fights
Yeah.
somewhere in there pro
Yeah.
and just see how it goes, have fun.
Yeah.
Um the thing is like obviously it's a late start.
Hmm.
So I'm more focused on being a dad
Yeah.
than being a pro boxer
Hmm.
right now.
Yeah.
We got a couple companies, a couple businesses we're running. And man, I don't necessarily need to be training full time,
Yeah.
So I think I'm just gonna have fun with it,
Yeah.
see how it goes. And goal is to be retired before 40. That's my real
That
goal.
was a good goal.
Yeah. And then I can just hang out with my family, travel, train,
Yeah.
coach, and just have fun, man.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming, man.
Yeah. Thanks
That
for
was
having me.
good. If there's anything else you wanna shout out, talk about
Yeah,
there.
shout out my sponsors, Perfect Sports, and then Hayabusa sponsored me for my last fight. So hopefully they're send. I heard they're sending me some gear, so I'm waiting to get some of that gear, and I'll see what they send me.
Right on, man. That's exciting.
Yeah,
Cool. Okay, well, thanks for coming, and
yeah, for sure.
man, we'll
Thank
do
you.
this again.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah,
yeah, right on,
yeah.
man. Okay, let's call it.